I mean, you mentioned earlier that even before you went to Lebanon, you were surrounded by a lot of Christian
who support Israel.
Yeah. So, but for you, that experience, how did it change
they don't talk to me now, many of them.
Okay.
You know, they come to me and they threw me the Bible and said, those that curse Israel be cursed. I said, so you're telling me I'm cursed? So in fact, I have to read the whole Bible all over again to work out whether the God in the Bible wants to kill Palestinians. Yeah.
Oh, so you did that after you
I came out. Yeah.
So how did then you square that? Because you were a devout Christian, you went to the Holy Land, you experienced the other side. I mean, I can imagine some people totally giving up religion, you know, like leaving religion.
Yeah.
But you carried on and you managed to balance.
No, I don't balance. So I actually, what I did was I asked God, I said, look here, I've had enough, okay? Yeah, you favor one side against the others. Has it got to be like that? But I will give you one more chance. This is me talking to God. I'm going to read the Bible all over again, and I want to see who you really are. So I started from page 1, Genesis, creation, you know all that. And the first major kind of light bulb moment is when God was so angry with Adam and Eve. You remember that bit, okay? I think it's in the Quran as well. He was so angry, he said, I cast you out of the Garden of Eden. I put a sword, a flaming sword at the entrance so that you cannot get back. Our God, it was seraphim, so you cannot come back. But next sentence, nobody reads. But I'll come up with you to accompany you on your journey on earth. So God came up with a man and woman. So God does not give them up, even though they have sinned. So the next bit is about God making clothes for them, you know, and then it went on to the Abrahamic covenant, which is so important, which nobody understands. You know, I don't want to turn this into a religious thing, but basically people think that the Abrahamic covenant means that the chosen people of God, the tribes of Israel, possess the land of Canaan. It's not like that. Your descendants will possess this land, but walk before me and be thou perfect. That was the first covenant of land. Your descendants, who are God's descendants? Ishmael, his firstborn, Isaac, the secondborn, and later many more children. Okay, so that's a land covenant. So then we talk about the covenant that you will bless all nations. So if you look at it, who can bless all nations? Israel or the Palestinians? Neither of them can. Countries in this world are imperfect. We're human beings. We can bless someone, but not a lot. Who can bless all nations? Only God can. So he said, I'll stay with you, you know. And that is in a context when Abraham was sacrificing his son Isaac. And it says, because you have not withheld your son, I will not withhold mine. So it's a covenant of a savior, right, who will bless all nations. In the Quran, Jesus is a Mahdi, Messiah. In a Christian, Jesus is the Son of God, will come back and redeem all civilization. He was talking about that. He's not talking about this land, you know, and that Israel will be the number one nation, intimidate everybody. He's talking about that. He's talking about God wanting to bless all nations because of Abraham's sacrifice. That is the covenant. My Christian friends, they don't, I don't get that far. And as to the Palestinians, they are the descendant of the Holy Land. Some of them are Jews, some of them are Christians, some of them are Muslims. And as to the belief, whether the children of Hagar has a share of the land, it has. God spoke to Hagar twice, the mother of Ishmael. Yeah, she is also chosen by God, and her son is chosen by God. So it's all about sharing and not about supremacy. So that's all dealt with. Okay?
So I mean, armed with that realization, I can imagine I mean, even in this day and age where there's so many horrible things happening, back then and through the years, how did you engage people who were curious to know about what's going on? Because right now, even my own experience, when you talk to someone, you take a side, immediately it's binary. You're either this side or that side. Throughout your years, especially since you read the Bible, you reaffirmed your faith, how do you typically deal with people who just wrote you off?
Yeah, that's their problem, not mine. I mean, I'm very simple. Okay. God is the God of Father of all. Okay. So whether you're a Jew or a Muslim or a Christian, you know, God is your Father. But if you go out and kill your brother, possess their land, and, starve them, drive them out, do you think God will approve of that? Then they get angry with me and they walk out. Never mind. But some of them come back.
Yeah.
Gaza make them come back. Because for the first time, they can actually see what's happening. So Swee is not telling lies and exaggerating, grinding an axe. You can see for yourself.
Yeah.
They come back to me, email me, my goodness, my heart. And I just take a big breath. And I know it's God working in their heart. It's nothing to do with me. I can argue on the couch. It's not about arguing and winning an argument. It's not debating society. It's about human life. Palestinians are being starved to death. 8 more died yesterday of starvation. And dozens more killed getting food. It's a famine, right? When people are so hungry, they will risk their life going to get food and get killed. Yeah. And here it is. Now, I just read the piece this morning before I come to you. They have suggested that they deport the whole of Gaza and put them in South Sudan. Have you read that?
Yeah.
How about that?
Yeah. So
how do they face God? Yeah.
So when you see things like this, given that, you've been sharing and talking about the Palestinian cause, the Palestinian plight for 43 years, when you see the past 3 years happen, how do you feel? Because I can imagine it's almost like things are not getting better, things are getting worse.
Yeah, big scale.
Yeah, big scale. And I mean, even for now, we look at it, I don't know how to even think about it because this has been going on for years. Everyone says, oh, we are moving towards a 2-state solution, but now it seems to be getting worse. So for someone who has been on the ground, 40 years ago, seeing everything that's been happening over the years, how do you think about it? Is it like, does it fill you with a bit of hopelessness or even more drive to do something?
You look at it this way. 43 years ago, they died and nobody cared. Okay. One Dr. Ang trying to form a charity with her friends, raise £600 to donate to the women. That was what we had. And if you look at Palestinian history, 1948, 600 villages erased, finished, okay? Yeah, and 750,000, according to Professor Salman, more dispossessed. So bad that United Nations has to form a branch called UNRWA so that all these Palestinian refugees can be taken care of, food and shelter and all that, because they are just dying all over the border state. It was that bad. Now, at that time, Palestinian refugees, 750,000. Today, 7 million. At the time, nobody knew who they are. Now, everybody knows. So other people take sides against them because they just feel that they are cursed, or people dare not speak up, don't want to lose your job, kiangsu, okay? Or people actually speak up and put themselves in front. That is progress. Okay, Gaza has paid a very high price to tell the story of Palestine. Yeah. So in the perspective of 77 years of suffering, this is the worst. But if you look at the Palestinian people, for them, they will just go on. You talk about voluntary kind of leaving Gaza. If you starve them and they have to find food outside, That is not voluntary. That is ethnic cleansing and genocide, right? So we understand now. I don't have to explain. Because when I faced an audience now, I said, what can I tell you that you don't already know? You just decide which side are you on. Now, the Palestinians' lives, living and existence does not predicate on the disappearance of Israel. And neither is it the other way. You know, suppose you flip the side. If Palestine is doing it to the people of Israel, same. It's the same pain. The only solution is they share the land. Correct? And us lot who are not Palestinians have to realize that in a crisis like that, I don't want to take side. You know, they fight it out. This world, everywhere they're suffering. Yeah. So why are you zooming on Palestine? I'm zooming on Palestine because for 77 years they've been suffering. The scale of it is such that we are seeing it. Sudan, we don't see it so much. Okay. And it's very complicated. And where are you? Where are you in terms of this genocide? Which side are you on? Do you favor the annihilation and erasure of Gaza? You can do that. But what about West Bank? What about the 7 million in refugee camps all over? You want to finish them off too? Yeah.
But you know, you just mentioned that what's happening in Sudan is complicated. I hear a lot of people also saying the same thing about what's happening in Gaza and Israel. And I think it's one of those things that it's so complicated that, yeah, like what you said, just let them fight it out.
We are not letting them fight it out. We are arming one side against the other. The people who talk like that are the people in the countries who are actually pro-Israel. Right? South Africa don't talk like that. Yeah. The people who are actually doing a lot for Palestine don't talk like that. So the people who are complicit in the massacre and the man-made famine in Gaza are using neutrality as a fig leaf. I'm sorry. I think a lot of your viewers will be very angry. One day we all stand before God. You know, I used to say that your children will ask you, where were you in this genocide? Which can be stopped. You can't stop Sudan because the dynamics is totally different. Israel-Palestine, very simple. You pump in a lot of aid and money for one side to destroy the other side. Come on, you know. USA, stop the arms and the war will stop. It's quite simple. They say, oh, your mind's so simplistic, so naive. I'm not naive. I'm very intelligent and I know more than you. But you're not stopping it because the arms trade makes a lot of money and a lot of innovation on how to kill people, you know, and so on and so forth. And you're totally entrenched with this war machinery. And then you use religion and all that to kind of cover it up.
And you know, just now you mentioned that sometimes when you're talking, you feel like, what is it I can tell you that you don't already know?
Yeah.
But from your experience, is there anything that, if not for your experience, you yourself wouldn't know? Because the struggle, I think, for a lot of people in this generation who try to understand, sometimes I read the news, I don't know who's wrong, who's right. I see stats.
You mean you?
Me.
Okay.
Yeah, sometimes I see the Hamas-controlled Ministry of Health declares these numbers, which is then refuted by the Israeli side. And then I'm like, okay, I don't know who to believe. And I don't know who. And sometimes I feel there's so much stuff that's happening that the common man doesn't understand. But you've been on the ground. You have testified at a commission. You've been speaking about it for 43 years. Is there anything that you've realized that surprised you about actually the dynamic that is within everything that's happening?
The dimension frightens me. Yeah. And it also, I also thought about it. If what's happening in Gaza now, the last 2 years, happened maybe 30 years ago, they'll get away with it. Yeah, because we won't know. But somehow, I just feel that our eyes are opening. And that's why it went on for so long. You know, UN is supposed to be neutral, right? when I speak, most of my figures does not come from the Hamas-controlled MOH because medical aid for Palestinians absolutely will have nothing to do with Hamas. Okay, so we have no projects with Hamas. We do not sanction them. If we give a single penny to Hamas, we get closed down. So it all comes from UN. And then now the focus is on UN. You know, closing the UN, threatening the ICC. How is it ICC is good enough for Ukraine, you know, for Balkans, but it's not good enough for Israel Palestine? How come? You just have to ask the question, are there two rules, two sets of laws, one for one set of people and the other? You know, very simple. A 7-year-old Palestinian boy who studied in the UK, all right? Because parents are working in UK. Of course, they got British passport. One day, he sit down and say, yeah, blah, 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 how are you today? He said, Dr. Swee, I'm very upset. I said, upset about what? When Ukraine happened, the teachers asked them to kind of help with baking cakes, raising money for Ukraine. And the Ukrainian wounded come and our government treat them, and we give them 300,000 places to house them, you know, bypass the refugee process. And then down Gaza. And then I go back to school, same school, and I try to talk about Gaza, and teacher pull me aside. Don't. Are we allowed to die and people are not supposed to even remember us or talk about us? How come we're different from the Ukrainians? How come we can even try and sort out the Balkans? What's wrong with us? Or what's wrong with the world? So if you look at it in that way, you will realize there's a big silencing program going on somewhere to stop people knowing about what's happening to the Palestinians. It's gone on for 70 over years. It took me a trip to Sabra Shatila to learn about the truth. Because if you're standing in the middle of dead bodies, with orphans everywhere, with homes that are destroyed, with no future for these people, you cannot, on the one side, you know, the PLO is already gone. You know, you have to believe your own environment, existence. You cannot be debating whether this is put up for you to see. I know a dead body who is shot. See it. And even if we talk about the Gaza Humanitarian Foundation, even the US contractors themselves resign. Right. Because they went there in good faith thinking that we're going to feed 500,000 people today, you know, big time, you know, better than McDonald's. So, and then you go there, you give them food and you give them sacks of flowers, and the moment they leave you, you hear gunshot. And then the hospital are filled with wounded and dead. That is not a lie. People prepared to go there and get food, knowing that there's a good chance of dying. You know, that's not a lie. You know, we don't talk to Palestinians. That's the trouble. Now it's a lot better because the Palestinians can actually phone us and tell us what's happening. But we refuse to listen to them. You know, but you listen to them and you know they're not lying. They're dying, but they're not lying. They're lying, but the world is so skeptical. They rather say that it's a Hamas-controlled MOH. I forget about Hamas control. What about the UN? Oh, UN is biased.
Yeah, we've heard that also.
Yeah, UN is biased. Shut UNRWA down, okay?
Yeah.
I tell you why UNRWA is under trouble. UNRWA has kept the Palestinian refugees alive for 76 years. Without UNRWA, it's difficult to keep Palestinian refugees alive and focused. Yeah. So if you look at it, schools are destroyed, mosques are destroyed, Christian churches are destroyed, Christian hospital is destroyed. Okay? And then you look at university are gone. 2,000 medical students cannot continue the study. Okay? 1,500 doctors and nurses and health workers killed. Right? 35,000 orphans with either one or both parents missing. Okay, 1,500 families completely wiped out. Okay, these are real figures, right? So there's no ifs and buts. If you choose to listen to Israel, which most of us have done, and I've done for 33 years, this will continue until the war aims are accomplished. And the war aims are actually spelled out by Israel itself. Drive them out, ethnically cleanse it. They're the Amalekites. You know, these are, they say, I didn't say it. Israeli snipers actually show us their pictures of who they choose. It's not from me, it's from them. Going to the Palestinians' home, taking out their clothes, stripping all the Palestinians and lining them up, you know, torturing doctors, killing them under torture. This is not me, that's them. And then when people protest, even the Israeli court want to charge the IDF for raping Dr. Al Bush to death, there was a big revolt. The IDF said, no, we sanction rape against Palestinian prisoners. It's them who say, I didn't say it. Yeah. So what side are you talking about? Yeah.
So I mean, I think you, like, now with social media also, we are hearing directly from Palestinians and all, right? Do you feel like the reception to your message has changed over the years now that people are seeing for themselves albeit on their phones, but they are seeing for themselves what's actually happening there?
Yes, of course.
So, like, how was the response back last time before social media and today? How is it different?
Okay, I want to tell you, the Palestinians brought me back to Singapore. Yeah, because I've been exiled for so many years. And I've been back to Singapore four times in 47 years, 48 years. First time, special permission to bring Francis Ashes back, 2012. Special, okay? The second time I was back is because they want me to renounce British citizenship. You can't hold dual. So I came back, commission of inquiry, and I said I won't renounce anything. You can take what you want, you know. So they took away my Singapore citizenship. I said I didn't renounce. Okay. And then the third time I came back because Harvard Club Singapore wanted to make me a fellow. But they made me a fellow because of my Palestinian work. Right. And this time I came, NUS invited me, knowing full well that I'm going to talk about the Palestine and Gaza. But they told me don't be political. How not to be political? I'm speaking up. I'm speaking up against the machinery who wants to kill them, and I want to save them. It's as political as all that. Okay. Yeah.
But you did end up giving a speak, a
yeah,
talk,
of course I did.
And I mean, do you still have that fear, like of how people will react to you? Because I mean, 4 times since over decades.
50 years, nearly 50 years.
Yeah, like is that still that fear, or and how do you see Singapore now? You know, coming back, because in some way they kind of kicked you out. You know.
Yeah, that's all right.
Yeah.
I think it's quite fair, you know. You don't allow dual citizenship, so why should you make exception for me? Government give you face, you know, give you a choice, you know. We keep your citizenship, but you've got to renounce British. I said, no, I won't do that. Then you renounce Singapore. No, I won't do that. How can you tell a government that? What do you want them to do? Yeah.
And I mean, like now when you look at Singapore, because I think one thing also that we see a lot is that, you know, the Palestinians are equal to Hamas, which is like what you said, even in the 82.
Yeah, PLO.
Yeah, PLO. Then, I mean, even last week, there was a demonstration in Israel about people protesting Netanyahu's plans to invade Gaza.
Yeah.
You know, so like, I think that's one thing that is almost like a skill. How do you separate 2 entities that are the same? And is that something that you have kind of developed over time? Because right now everyone they label, even when you look at Singapore, yes, there were things that led to you being exiled, but they are still Singaporeans, and it's not the same. The authorities, the people, they're not the same. Like, what would you recommend or suggest to people who are struggling with that?
Okay. It's very difficult. Some people deliberately confound it to legitimize a genocide.
Yeah.
That's different. Okay, that's evil.
Yeah.
All right. But if you look at it this way, 1982, no Hamas. No Hamas at all. PLO. Okay. 1948, no Hamas. Okay. Ethnic cleansing of Palestine. All right. So all this happened without Hamas. Now, I don't want to go through the history of Hamas because I'm no authority and I've not spoken to Hamas ever. I hope one day I can, but I'm not wanting to do it. So it's not a problem. People have bad governments, okay? Just like the Israelis who actually demonstrated and said, Netanyahu doesn't represent us. Palestinians also say that Hamas doesn't represent us. But then nobody say because Netanyahu is so bad, we will withdraw funding to Israel, we'll stop the arms, and so on. Nobody says that. Here, there's more bombs. Here, there's more arms. F-16, you know. So it's biased already, correct? So we have to be very clear, right? I am very, very inspired by the younger generation in Singapore. Because growing up in a country which was completely pro-Israel, I think you've shifted your government and educated your government to the contrary. And a lot of people say, yeah, two-state solution, what for? You know, means nothing. It means a lot. You know, we have now a failed two-state since Oslo, okay? Oslo didn't happen. Oslo means 22% Palestine state, 78% Israeli state. Didn't happen. It degenerated from 22% to 12%, now to 8%. And if you get rid of Gaza, maybe 7%. So there's no two-state at all. So, but even all that, a state is not conditioned on how the people in the government behave. Correct? Which country can actually put its hand on its heart that we have never done anything wrong? Yeah. A lot of war criminals get punished and so on, but nobody ever said that because your so-and-so is war criminal, we will remove your statehood. So the Palestinians too have their right to statehood. That's ingrained, you know, and sacrosanct for the Palestinian people. You see, now they, you know, now what have they got? But of course, the offer of a statehood, which might happen in 5 years' time, must not take our view away and the focus away from what's happening in Gaza and West Bank. Because by the time 5 years come and this thing continue, there'll be no Palestine to recognize, not even 5%, right? So if we recognize a Palestinian state, very good, diplomatic, you know, it's a victory. And the Palestinian should have it independent of what Singapore say, what Malaysia say, and so on. It's their inherent, inalienable right to have a state, right? Forget it. Okay, that's done.
You're given, yeah.
Yeah.
So for people who are listening and maybe have become more curious, what would you suggest they do? Let's say if they want to find out more, if they want to help, if they want to be more conscious.
Okay, I want to tell you something. If you read my book, it's many, many pages. You might not want to do it. And then
we can show the book. We can show the book.
And then you end up in tears and then you can't sleep. Okay, I can tell you that because it's all based on the testimony of Palestinian people. So, but you read this book, it's all in a nutshell. Why Palestine? Okay, why? Why should we bother? Because Palestine is the center and the litmus test for humanity. It's a moral compass. And for someone like me, I cannot walk away from it. Because if I know that a person, a country, a people have been so persecuted, and if I walk away, I'm worth nothing. And also, unfortunately, for my younger friends, they've seen it. They might justify, because they upset Israel, you know, but they're not like that. You ask yourself, do you walk away? then in all religious faith, you are not supposed to walk away from such inhumanity. So if you walk away from this thing, you had it. You can't talk about anything else. Yeah. So I'm very pleased that, I'm seeing a different thing in Singapore. I've never dreamed that Singapore will ever want to recognize a Palestine state. I will never ask the Singapore government to do that. Yeah. But who pushed them? Not me. The people of Singapore. If the government won't do it, next time I don't vote you. I don't friend you. Correct? we still got democracy. Right?
Yeah. So as much as you say your book, which is From Beirut to Jerusalem, is thick, I actually think people would want to read it.
Then they read both.
They read both. Okay. Why Palestine? Written by Professor Walid, who we have had on our podcast recently, and From Beirut to Jerusalem.
Yeah. Because it really does ground, I think, your story, not just as, activist or what, but as a Singaporean, who's concerned about humanity as well. Yeah. And that you can come from Potong Pasir or whichever part of the island. And you can...
actually from Potong Pasir.
Yeah, you are from Potong Pasir. So you can devote, but you can still devote your life to help all these people who are so far away as well.
Yeah. You help your own people, okay? As our charity begins at home, right? It doesn't end there, right? You help the people in Singapore, those who need your help. It makes you feel very good. But then you go beyond that. Come on, Singapore is a very successful country. You've got a lot of resources. Okay? What's wrong with just using some of those capital that we have gained to help some other country? And apart from making Israel angry and USA angry, the whole world is happy. Yeah. Yeah. Today, I think it's a given that Palestine is a cost lab. Correct? Not during my time. You help Palestine, you lose your job. Now you help Palestine, young colleagues will sign up all the petitions for you. Different.
Yeah.
And to you, that is a sign of progress.
There's a letter that one of the younger people wrote, we must stand in solidarity with the health workers of Palestine. Of course, I signed, okay? They want someone to sign. I said, right, let's go for broke. I sent it to all my colleagues, okay? These are the orthopedic elite. Let's see what happens. And then within 48 hours, got 1,600 signatures. So she sent me the list, and I look at it and said, my God, the whole elite of the orthopedic world has signed. I said, wow, it's changed. Then when I was on the flotilla, I got arrested, and I felt very bad, you see, because I told my colleagues I'm going sailing. Yeah. By sailing, I'm not lying, okay?
So this was 2018, right?
Yeah, 2018. I'm going sailing. So the whole lot of us got arrested in international water. And when I was coming out, I was going back to work, and I said, God almighty, I don't know how, my colleague within this woman, do lali, and didn't tell them the truth. And when I walk into a morning meeting, every morning at 8 o'clock meeting, discuss all the casualties, they all start to clap. And I said, wow. I said, I'm okay, I'm alive, I'm in one piece. So later on, I found out while I was in prison, they phoned the BBC, say, you're horrible, never covered the story, my colleagues down there, they wrote to their MPs, kick up a big fuss, and so on and so forth. Because I think people are good. Of course, we're all sinners. That's no point. People try to do good, but we are fed the wrong information. Those of us who have the privilege of seeing it firsthand has to tell the story. No matter how inconvenient. Yeah.
And I mean, that's why full respect to you. I mean, you're 77 now. You can totally just sit back and do nothing, but you're still stronger than ever. With your cause.
I tell you something. I got 2 jobs. Day job, orthopedic surgeon, look after arthritic hands.
Because you're still...
Yeah, I'm still operating. My colleagues say you can. Let's do something easier. Actually, it's not easier, but less physically demanding. And got night job. Night job, the Palestinian cause. actually is activism, right? Which I really didn't focus on. I didn't click this. That night job carries on until I die.
Yeah. And I mean, full respect to you, Dr. Swee. Thank you so much for sharing. I know even sharing the difficult parts, it can't be easy for you. So we really, really appreciate it.
No, thank you for having me.
Yeah.
You're giving a chance to talk to people. Yeah.
No, it needs to be heard. Your story needs to be heard, definitely.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you for giving me the platform.
And anytime you're back, the 5th time you come back, the 6th time you come back, you're more than welcome here. And I mean, on that note, we do have the normal way we end every podcast, no matter how somber the topic is. It's a little segment we call the one shook thing. Yeah. It's just to fill, the listeners with hope, optimism. It's something that just can be anything, a book, video, anything that has a link. We can go first, and then we'll throw it over to you.
Okay.
So Terence, what is your one shook thing?
I've just been reading and thinking a lot about inequality in society recently. I mean, I read Yo Yen Yen's book. This is what inequality looks like. But as a layperson, I always think about, how do I think about inequality? So philosophically, why inequality might be bad for society. And I came across this book called Libertarianism, The Case Against Extreme Wealth, I think by a Dutch author, Ingrid Robijns. And it's a very intriguing read because it kind of explains step by step why so much inequality in society is bad in terms of the climate, bad in terms of socially, what it does to people, and psychologically and philosophically, how do we square that with what our value systems are as humans. So I'm still reading it, but it's a interesting thing because we always think about it in economic sense, right? But thinking of it philosophically, why inequality is bad, I think that's where it was quite interesting for me.
Okay, awesome. Mine is so it's I think it's something that Terence, you mentioned. It is a home-based business in Singapore. Dr. Swee, I don't know if you have even the time to notice that now there's a rise of home-based businesses in Singapore.
Yes.
And I think CNA has been featuring quite a few Singapore home-based people doing stuff like roasteries or coffee and all. And there's this one specifically which I think you went to recently.
Oh, yeah. I think I saw it. I saw that CNA documentary.
Yeah, so it's called Hustle in My HDB. And I mean, just like how I think that the one thing, like what you said, everybody can make a difference. I like this series because it's not a cause per se, but it's people, maybe wanting to start a restaurant or cafe, but now they're doing it on their own in their HDB.
Fantastic.
Which adds a level of vibrancy, which is very interesting. Of course, there are people who say, they should be subject to the same taxes as restaurants and all. But that aside, it's nice that people are being able to pursue what they want in a scale, what they want. And for CNA to highlight these individuals, because I've seen videos of people doing it abroad, but now that they're focusing in Singapore. So the series is called Hustle in My HDB. It's on the CNA Insider. And it's just one of those that you're like, actually, that's cool. There's more vibrancy in the community.
Are you a big coffee drinker, Dr. Swee?
I love coffee, but I can't drink too much.
Okay. But at least you love coffee. Coffee. Okay, cool. And over to you, Dr. Swee.
I will recommend this book. Yeah. Because it's written by a young Singaporean. He won't call himself young, but young. And it summarizes why Palestine. You listen to me, you go on and on, but it's be at the moment. But try to read this. I think it's pretty normal, and it's Singaporean. And I think it's so important. I read it. I endorsed it. And I didn't endorse it just to keep him happy, but I read it. And I think you should read it too.
Okay. We have read it as well.
Okay.
And,
we were introduced to it by a comedian, actually.
Yeah, correct.
We were doing a show with other comedians.
Right, okay.
And it was a comedian who was reading it backstage to kind of help him calm down before his show.
This book to calm down.
I mean, to center himself.
Center
himself.
Okay.
Not calm down.
To center himself.
Center himself.
So we were like, okay, that's interesting. And then, we had met Professor Walid before, then we were like, let's read it. And I finished it within a day, pretty much.
One day.
Yeah.
Fantastic.
So that's the appetizer, and then like there's another book to read.
If you want to have a broken heart and a sleepless night, you read mine. Okay.
Because it does go to some very, very dark places. But I think both are important reads. Why Palestine? Reflections from Singapore, written by Prof. Walid, previous guest of Yah Lah But. But thank you so much, Dr. Swee.
No, you're most welcome.
It's been a pleasure.
Thank you so much.
Yeah. Awesome. And again, whenever you're back again, if you'd like to jump on, we'd love to have you.
Okay.
Cool. And to everyone listening, thank you so much for listening. The links to everything is in the show notes. And we'll talk to you all very soon.
Bye.